Headquartered in Shenzhen, China, yes, that China, BYD, which stands for Build Your Dreams, is a Chinese vehicle manufacturer that specializes in zero-emissions cars like the Han, their sedan model, Tang, their SUV, and Atto, their hatchback. Now, while their cars aren't available in the USA, their buses are. Yes, BYD not only manufactures cars, but they also manufacture buses, which seems pretty weird and counterintuitive, but it's certainly an interesting approach that seems to be doing well as BYD is rapidly growing in North America. One or more BYD models are used by the Antelope Valley Transit Authority, Los Angeles Metro, Indianapolis Indigo, Long Beach Transit, Anaheim Resort Transportation, Monterey Salinas Transit, and locally, Link Transit in Burlington, North Carolina, among others like the Toronto Transit Commission in Canada. BYD was founded in Shenzhen, China in 1994 as a battery manufacturer, which led to their eventual development into electric vehicles. BYD specializes their manufacturing process by implementing more manual labor rather than automated processes that have become very popular over time in Southeastern Asia. Do with that what you will, but there's no doubt that something was working. Even though they were in the middle of the Asian financial crisis, which lasted until 1999, they had still managed to pick up clients such as Philips, Panasonic, and Motorola. Now, yes, I know you didn't come here to listen to me talk about batteries, so let's skip to 2003, when BYD acquired a small automotive company called Jian Qinshuan Automobile. I for sure botched that, but we're going to keep on going. Now, shareholders weren't fond of this because they weren't really aware of this before it happened, but they would end up being wrong in the long term anyway. The company's first car, the F3, began production in 2005. It was originally gas-powered. It was essentially a blatant rip-off of the Toyota Corolla, but hey, everybody's got to start somewhere, I guess. It was fairly successful due to its relatively low price, and in 2008, a plug-in hybrid variant of the F3 was introduced called the F3DM, followed by BYD's first fully electric car, the E6, in 2009, which was offered in a small four-door compact hatchback style. BYD auto sales have been hovering around 500,000 a year since, and the automotive division continues to do fairly well in China. However, I know that's not what we're here to learn about, as this most certainly isn't a car channel. So in 2010, for reasons which as far as I know can only be described as because they wanted to, BYD introduced their first bus, the pure electric K9. I'm not sure if that's in any way supposed to be related to the dog type name thing, but it's called the K9, so it is what it is. 200 BYD K9s entered service in Shenzhen for the 26th Summer Universiade in 2011, which made BYD the first company in the world to commercialize, quote, new energy buses. In 2011, BYD also announced their entry into the US market, and following their major focus shift in US business strategy from consumer cars to electric buses, they opened their first North American factory in Lancaster, California in 2013, which included a bus assembly plant and a separate battery factory. Since California is more liberal, it's definitely a good first American state to introduce their products to. And as we know now, the majority of BYDs are operated in California. In 2013, BYD won their first major US contract, which was worth $12.1 million and was to supply 10 K9s to Long Beach Transit, which would eventually be delivered in 2016. In 2014, they delivered 2 K9s to the Antelope Valley Transit Authority, who now has a fully electric fleet and uses solely BYDs for local service, alongside some electric MCIs for longer routes. In 2017, they landed possibly their most important contract yet, which was with the LA Metro, who had previously ordered 5 K9s in 2014, which they later sold back to BYD in 2016 due to reliability issues. But BYD had improved over time, and in 2019, the LA DOT ordered 130 BYDs, with 4 K9Ms, 95 K9MDERs, and 4 articulated K11Ms delivered. That doesn't quite add up to 130. I'm not sure if there's supposed to be more on the way or what, but those are the buses that are currently active from BYD in the LA Metro fleet. See, the original 2014s had been called in for maintenance much more frequently than the older buses in the Metro fleet and had issues with range, reliability, and welding. Sound familiar? Like I said earlier though, BYD improved over time and these were just growing pains, as their newer BYDs seem to be just fine as far as electric buses go. The AVTA also seemed to have similar issues with their 2014s, specifically in terms of range, but instead of giving up, they installed wireless charging pads along certain routes so that the buses could charge while driving, which is insanely futuristic technology for American public transit. But it is California, and that's basically a whole other country that is way more technologically advanced than the rest of the country for some reason. In Canada, the Toronto Transit Commission received 10 40-foot K9Ms in 2020 as the third different electric bus in their fleet, which also includes Proterras and New Flyers. Unfortunately, these came with issues, which also arose with the Flyers and Protatoes. At one point, all 10 BYDs were grounded due to persistent battery faults. However, the TTC worked with BYD to resolve this issue and replace the batteries. However, they still had range issues, which is pretty much the biggest problem with electric buses as a whole. They only achieved about 250 kilometers or 155 freedoms per charge with the new battery, which means longer routes couldn't be operated without change-offs during the day, which led to operational complexity and higher costs. The bus also had some weird quirks that operators weren't super fond of, but that's kind of just a thing that comes with anything new. They supposedly also had a awkward turning angle, which is definitely interesting, but who knows? The company is only about 12 years old in terms of US manufacturing, and well, I guess about 15 in terms of bus manufacturing as a whole, so I'd say they're still doing pretty good so far. Most of the problems the BYDs had weren't subject to just BYD. All electric buses face range and reliability issues. That's just something that comes with it. I mean, shoot, look at Proterra. They were all the rage up until about 2020 when they fell off the face of the earth due to issues just like this. However, with the right infrastructure in use, BYDs can be decent buses, which is why they strive in the US today and are continuing to grow. And they're relatively affordable, as far as I can tell, compared to other electric buses, which help smaller agencies like Link Transit in Burlington, which, by the way, was only founded in 2016 and now uses completely real transit buses, not a bunch of cutaway minibuses. I'm looking at you, Go Carry, take notes. Anyways, BYD doesn't only make regular transit buses. BYD has some other significant programs, like their presence in the UK, particularly in the London area. BYD partnered with Alexander Dennis, a prominent bus manufacturer in Europe, to create the ADL Enviro 400 EV, a fully electric double-decker bus which has been widely deployed in the London area. Recently, BYD launched their own proprietary electric double-decker, the BD11, tailored specifically for the UK market. These things vaguely remind me of older Prevost coaches. I like them. These do not have range issues. I'm not sure what's different, but they're different. And they can last up to 400 miles, or 640 kilometers, and can be rapidly charged via a pantograph system, which sounds crazy, but can also be found on electric buses by Proterra and Phoenix EV in the US, and I guess Canada too. Unsurprisingly, BYD has also entered the North American school bus market, with some in service already, I think. These include the Type D, which they have deemed the Dreamer, a 40-foot full-size flat-nose school bus with seating for up to 84 students. I like how these look. I enjoy this more simplistic circular headlight type design that BYD has adopted recently. I'm a fan. Their other model is the Type A, or Achiever as they have called it. This is a smaller bus, more closely resembling the short bus. We'll put it at that. This one is designed for accessibility and specialized routes, seating up to 30 passengers. Both models feature high-strength steel construction, electronic stability control, and use BYD's safe lithium iron phosphate battery technology. Now, one of their major selling points is the vehicle-to-grid, or V2G technology, which allows the bus to send stored energy back to the school's district power grid when parked, making the bus a temporary power source. Finally, BYD also offers coach-style buses for long distance, charter, and intercity routes. Their coach lineup, the C Series, includes the 40-foot C9M and the 30-foot, I think, kind of 23-foot maybe, C6M, as well as the 45-foot C10M. These all were introduced around 2017 and can travel about 200 miles on a single charge. So essentially, BYD, it's a fairly new company, but it's doing pretty well in North America. I will be perfectly okay with that because these buses don't look stupid like other concept buses and just concept anything. You know, every type of crazy new, usually electric thing that a company tries to introduce to the US market, they try to make it look all fancy and futuristic and weird. Take, for example, any new electric car in the US. I've gotten the chance to ride on one in Burlington. It sounded cool, which I can't believe I'm saying because typically I don't like how electric buses sound. I like diesel engines. Those are cool. They sound good. But the BYDs have an interesting spaceship-like sound that I don't hate. So I'm interested to see where they go over time. I particularly enjoy them. I wouldn't want to see my local agencies have a fleet of entirely BYDs, but I like them sprinkled in here and there. Anyways, thanks for watching this hastily made video that took, I kid you not, like 2 kind of half listens of a Childish Gambino album. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Okay, bye.